There was once a time when all of North America was a great green wilderness, nature's undisputed domain. Today, the rocky wall of the Continental Divide is one of her few remaining strongholds. There are many hidden valleys here, remote, almost inaccessible to man, where time is still measured by the passing seasons and only nature's law prevails. Such a place is Beaver Valley, the setting for another true life adventure. Under the warm touch of spring, the deeps of neighboring peaks begin to thaw. Brooks are formed and rushing waterfalls. By midsummer, however, these seasonal floods will be spent, leaving the prairies below barren and dry. And yet Beaver Valley will remain fertile and green. The reason may be found in water conservation. And chief conservationist here is nature's own engineer, the amazing beaver. This little homesteader is the valley's #1 citizen. Yet he builds not in the interest of public welfare, but solely for his own protection. The reservoir he constructs is the moat that surrounds his lodge, and as a further protection, the lodge is always equipped with an underwater entrance. Vital to his security is the water level in his pond, which he maintains by a truly remarkable dam. This he builds with mud and branches and infinite patience. He also constructs auxiliary dams and a system of canals for floating limbs to the scene of construction. With his chiseled teeth, the beaver can fell even full-grown trees. However, he's interested only in the branches. These are the raw material for his dams, and their tender bark is the main item in his diet. The beaver is a solid citizen, and he builds a solid house. He has no use for frivolity, nor will he even pause to pass the time of day with a fellow worker. Strictly a vegetarian, he hurries through a solitary lunch, then gets back to his construction job, always workmanlike, always stubbornly persistent. The beaver is a true pioneer, for wherever he fashions his dams, others follow. His ponds create swamps where cattails grow. Among these reeds, the marsh wren tidies her summer cottage. And a pair of honeymooners up from the south find seclusion among the cattails. Even this rich meadow was once a beaver pond. Filled with silt, the pond has become a pasturage. Here the lordly moose and his family graze in the midst of plenty. While half hidden among the wildflowers, a tiny chipmunk pampers his palate. From the sheltering forest, the timid deer comes to the beaver's pond to nibble on the tender water plants. But Madam Moose goes into this matter of eating more deeply. If that stuff along the shore is good, no telling what you might find farther out. So she browses along the bottom at considerable length to dredge up her dinner. To these streams in Beaver Valley, the salmon will soon come back to spawn. And here trout abide in the deep pools. Along the shores, the crayfish digs his tunnels, pushing and shoving the mud like a miniature bulldozer. But no tunnel is too deep for Mother Raccoon when she prowls the bank in search of a shore dinner. family in the bleachers watch her make a sensational one-handed catch. Actually, she turns the trick by letting the crayfish catch her. Nature plays no favorites, and you babies must be provided for. Here comes a male hawk with a mouse in his talons. He's going to try a mid-air transfer of his prey to the mother bird. A neat trick if he can do it. And there it goes. A few moments later, dinner is served. In a neighboring tree, a mother owl keeps her eye peeled for intruders. Then she goes back to filling Junior as full as a stuffed owl. The search for food is such a desperate business in Beaver Valley. There's little time for the after-dinner siesta. Still, the marmot finds a moment to take the sun. But not for long. Beaver country is fine country. Settlers are pouring in. And whenever you have a land rush, there's sure to be at least one unsavory character among them. Like this coyote, who has strayed a long way from his native plains. Beaver Valley should be easy pickings. What makes it hard is the Vigilance Committee. It seems that a coyote can't make a move these days without somebody giving the alarm. The marmot finds cover below. Even the badger takes no chances but beats a hasty retreat to the safety of his burrow. But if some hide, there are others who rely on camouflage. One of these bare branches is a blue heron, who hopes the coyote will see nothing but the sticks and pass on by. He may look like a stick, but he doesn't smell like a stick. So when the coyote's nose prompts him to investigate, the heron takes wing. Even so, the coyote has been tricked. The male heron was merely a decoy, and the female remains undisturbed on her nest, a study in suspended animation. A cousin of the heron, the bittern, is equally cautious when near her nest and never goes directly to it. On her roundabout approach, even the cracking of a twig will make her freeze in her tracks and melt into the scenery. The danger past, this wily old bird continues on her cautious, sure-footed way. Baby bitterns can play statue too. Now they're milkweed stalks, now they're hungry little birds. All over Beaver Valley, mothers are looking after their young, teaching them the art of self-preservation. Today's lesson is the quick takeoff. That is, it's supposed to be the quick takeoff. Too bad their wings aren't as well developed as their outboard motors. Meanwhile, the beaver has his family troubles too. A housing problem. His youngsters are called kits, and usually there are several generations cluttering up the place at once. It gets very crowded with so many babies nosing about the backyard or tied to mother's apron strings that finally the 2-year-old sets out to face the world, as an elder brother should. He travels cross-country by means of his father's canals. Then he heads into unknown waters. Before long, he misses the company of his brothers and sisters, but now he's a long way from home, and the lure of the unexplored wilderness draws him on and on. Finally, he goes ashore to see what this new world has to offer. He finds everything to his taste. If only there was someone to share it with. He's just setting out again on his lonely travels when he spies a female on the shore. She's lovely. And fastidious. Quite the most charming little beaver that ever graced a riverbank. Or let herself be kissed in a quiet pool. He's so smitten with her charms that when a rival male moves in, he quickly drives him away. But just a minute. Where did this youngster come from? No beaver kit is ever permitted to wander about alone. And then the bridegroom sees the light. His mate is a young widow with a baby needing protection. So this is the way of the world. His first day away from home and he ends up with a family. But the honeymoon will have to wait. There's a dam to be built before this shallow stream will afford them protection. The noise attracts the coyote. He's been prowling about just hoping to catch something off guard. Something like this kid who is young and inexperienced. The kid senses the danger, but isn't quite sure what to do about it. After such an object lesson as that, he's got to get busy on the dam. And so the turbulent spring passes, giving way to the calm of midsummer. Nature is at peace with herself, and as evening falls, her creatures will soon be at rest. But not the beaver. To stay on schedule, he works the night shift too. His dam is nearly finished, and he can be proud of it. He learned his trade during a long apprenticeship at home. father taught him that the best protection against floods is a well-made spillway. So he wedges in his sticks head-on to brace against the push of the current. 1,000 sticks, 1,000 trips. Night after night he works, all through the summer. The dam is only the first of his jobs. He still has to build a house, and after that gather a food supply for the coming winter. He never stops to rest. And while he labors, the symphony of the summer night begins. The crickets are the first to tune up. The beaver listens and is reassured. For when the night is full of sound, he knows that all is well. The frogs have a less practical point of view. There's romance in the air. This is the soulful serenade of the lovelorn frogs. And so the summer nights pass. The beaver working, the frogs wooing. Indeed, Beaver Valley is such an ideal place for matchmaking, even the salmon come home to mate in its streams. From hundreds of miles downstream, they fight their way through rocks and rapids bound for the quieter headwaters. Instinct spurs them on to their spawning grounds. Some destroy themselves on the jagged rocks. Others exhaust their magnificent strength, trapped in the shallow side pools. Some escape. Some, like souls in torment, await their doom. A few encounter the Prince of Darkness himself. The bear knows they must pass this way by the thousands, and that he can gorge himself, hit or miss, in an orgy of indulgence. With such an inexhaustible supply, he can afford to pick and choose, and dines only on the choicest fillets. Yet, in spite of all, the strong among them survive, fight their way past enemies and obstacles to the spawning beds of Beaver Valley. These are the waters they left years ago. This is the home that in some mysterious fashion has always been remembered. The female lays her eggs. The male fertilizes them, then covers them with sand. Now they await their end. Their life cycle is complete. They will die, but their kind will be born anew. Overhead, the ravens, nature's scavengers, hover in ever-diminishing circles, waiting. Autumn in Beaver Valley is dazzling and beautiful. But the young beaver has no time to admire the fall colors. Like many another anxious harvester, he's worried about his feed pile. All he can see is the first thin film of ice. Unlike the bear, the beaver doesn't hibernate. He'll need a food supply to carry him through the winter. And so before his pond freezes over, he stocks his feed pile with tender saplings. One by one, he takes the branches down and anchors them securely to the bottom. The mother, concerned about her house, gives it a final weatherproofing of mud. And then, just when every minute is precious, suddenly a pack of traveling clowns appears on the scene. These are the otters, the gypsies of Beaver Valley. Fun-loving, happy-go-lucky, they're as frolicsome as the beaver is industrious. Otters are related to the mink, the weasel, and distantly to the seal. With their four-webbed feet, they're as much at home in water as they are on land, and they take a keen delight in churning up the quiet waters of the beaver's private swimming pool. Mrs. Beaver takes a dim view of such rowdies and hustles her baby to the refuge of the house. Father drops his work and comes racing to protect the homestead. It isn't every day these hoodlums have a chance to play horse with a sober size like this. But the beaver is not amused. There's work to be done, and this is no time for games. The otters can make him look bad, but they can't whip him. Indeed, they have a healthy respect for this dull little fellow with the big, sharp teeth, so they keep their distance. After all, the beaver's home is his castle, and our hero is determined to hold off the invaders, even if it takes all winter. But these good time Charlies can't play the same game for 5 minutes without getting bored. With the approach of winter, the sky wears a necklace of wild geese. Most of the summer visitors have already headed south, and even these hardy campers will soon join them. of the permanent residents of the community, the beaver goes about his preparations for the lean months ahead. His feed pile is packed with more than enough saplings to carry him through. But this is his first winter on his own, and he's determined that his family will not go hungry. He's a born worrier, always looking forward to the worst. And so he sets out on one last foraging trip. The saplings along the shoreline have long since been cut, so Father Beaver must venture into new territory some distance from his pond. This is dangerous business so far from water. On land, he's slow and clumsy and practically defenseless. It's been a lean season for this fellow. He's almost forgotten what a square meal tastes like. After all, you can't eat snow. Suddenly, he sees a small, dark object against the white background. In an instant, the chase is on. It's close, but the beaver makes it. And a bad loser gives voice to his woe. Winter has tightened its grip now, and the beaver pond has frozen solid, save for one small hole by the spillway. The close call with the coyote has failed to shake our young beaver's stubborn resolve. And even though he's overstocked with provisions, he's determined to add one more tasty branch to his deep freeze. The stick seems to have a mind of its own, but the most obstinate piece of wood that ever grew is no match for this beaver's persistence. Once he's started something, he'll never give up. If necessary, he'll even gnaw the ice to make the hole bigger. For he's determined to poke that bulky branch downstairs, or no other reason why. But if winter brings the beaver nothing but problems, it brings the carefree otters nothing but fun. Now, winter sports include skating, of course, so let's see if the pond is ready. Whoop. Just a trifle too thin. There's always the toboggan side. Night and a crescent moon. Under its spell, all nature lies sleeping. All except a certain beaver. He'll stick with this thing until the hole freezes over. And it did. Now, safe and warm in a sturdy house, the beaver at last enjoys a well-earned rest. while the coyote must continue his endless wandering through the misty hollows. And so, with the coming of winter, the seasons complete their cycle to close a true life adventure in this hidden place called Beaver Valley.